new parts have arrived from the factory without issue. They'll be fitted to the car in time for the next session.
Thank you for the update, Carl, and welcome everyone back to Season 3, and you join me for the Hungarian Grand Prix. We're moving into the second half of the calendar here, and we bring obviously huge update, huge aero upgrade, a drag reduction upgrade, a downforce on the front and the rear. And once again, for the third race in a row, there's going to be some moisture in the air, and it's going to start apparently pretty heavy and then ease off as the race goes on. So we'll see what that means. Normally, I'm not too strong around Hungary anyway, and I'm not the best in the wet. So chances are, between the two of them, we're not going to have a good result. But nonetheless, we will see what we can do. And then we've got an email about Carl. So looks like we're probably going to have regulation change for next year. So alright, fair play. So obviously that will give us the option to protect some parts. I'm probably not even going to do, well, I'm definitely not going to do a Season 4 on this game on YouTube, but I might do one externally just to get some extra achievements. So, coming into this weekend, we bring an upgrade. Force India bring a minor one. Renault on the climb, and they actually have overtaken Red Bull, so Renault now the third fastest team. And Ferrari and Toro Rosso, they've been on a gradual increase since France, and they are apparently now on the same level. And Williams have even jumped up above Haas there. So looking very interesting in the midfield. And as we've just gone past the halfway point of the season, figured we'd have a little look at some statistics. So all in all, as part of our career, 2.5 seasons, 621 total points, 9 race wins, 4 pole positions, 18 finishes on the podium. My average grid start position is 9th. My average finish position is 5th. So that all in all is pretty strong. 7 overall fastest laps over my career, 2,061 laps driven, joined 3 teams, and I've driven a collective distance of 7,715 miles. With all those numbers thrown at you, let's get into quali.
The excitement is starting to build here at the Hungaroring as the lights are about to go green for today's qualifying session. We expect some cars out on track any moment now.
So as I've said, I'm not particularly great at this track, but we will give it the old college try nonetheless. Our first lap out the pits puts us actually provisionally fastest on a 14.5, so figured that was quite the confidence booster. But here we go for our actual lap, as Bottas has now unseated us as provisional pole position. Daniel Ricciardo currently P3, braking just after 100 metres, and then you've got to bring the car down, but then you can carry speed through the corner, and it's all about a good exit here down towards turn 2, where you brake just after the 50-metre ball, and we really brought in quite close to the curb there to have a smooth exit and a good run through turn 3 as we now charge up the hill towards the blind entry towards turn 4. You just sort of have to flick it in and hope the track is there. Then turn 5 is quite a challenging one. You really don't want to ride the curb on the inside, as you will spin the car. Then up to the chicane, braking just again at the 50-metre ball, mounting the curbs as best you can, try and straight line it as much as possible. And here's really, I bolted a ton of downforce to the car for the wet weather, so I was sacrificing pace in the first and third sector, but through the middle sector I put a ton of downforce on the car, and we were really strong. At the moment we're 2 tenths up on Valtteri Bottas here, but I find that my traction through the final sector isn't particularly great, as we have a 90-degree right-hander and then 2 180-degree left, then a right. 5 minutes left in the session as we come to finish this lap, which got to wait to put the power on. There it is. Not as good as last time around, but DRS open across the line. It's a 14.1, and it is provisionally faster than Valtteri Bottas, which felt great for the time being, but you're going to see, for once, the end of qualifying results here. And the AI all just went out and went a second half quicker. So I dropped from provisional P1 with 5 minutes left to go to 12th place. Naturally, I was quite cheesed off about this. So we're going to have to start P12 in the wet at Hungary. Well, this is a recipe for disaster. What can we do? Let's find out.
We've seen some astonishing Grand Prix here over the years, haven't we? The drama of 2015 is a recent example. Jenson Button's first win on a wet track in 2006, or in 1997, Damon Hill's heartbreak in the Arrows after a late gearbox failure cost him what would have been the team's only ever victory. What a wonderful place this is to come racing today. 14 corners then for our drivers to navigate in the rain today. It's 6 lefts and 8 rights around a lap, and there are a few places where it's very easy to run wide in these conditions. Accidents are not uncommon here, so we may see a safety car out at some point during the race. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Let's talk about the captain. No grid penalties, no mitigating circumstances, just a poor qualifying performance and a very disappointing start position for them today.
They'll have a sinking feeling as they look up from the cockpit and realise they're in a different postcode to the start line for sure. But the one positive they can hold on to is that the car is quick and they can make their way through the field.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ocon, Ricciardo, Max Verstappen, and Sainz, Vettel, Hülkenberg, Alonso, and Kimi Räikkönen. Gasly, the captain, Brendan Hartley, and Leclerc, Van Dorn, Sirotkin, Lance Stroll, and Marcus Ericsson. Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So we're out of position and we have a lot of work to do. As such, let's see what we can do with the car. I'm underfueling this. I'm going to go a lap under and in the rain hopefully save some fuel. The rain projected to go to over halfway in this Grand Prix, but we did see what happened with Germany. So I'm not confident, but we'll see what we can do as we build with the lights. 5 are on for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Away we go in the rain. Even though apparently it was the heavy rain icon, we're all starting on the intermediate tyre, and already just a plume of spray as we go down towards turn 1. I'm lining my car up for a big move down the inside. I'm going to be very delicate on the brakes though, as we don't want to be too out of shape when we get there. And of course the AI all going side by side, fighting with each other. That's immediately us up a good few positions. And then up towards turn 2, Vettel kept the door open. I've mounted the curb. I will fight my way past Sebastian Vettel up into P7. The Ferrari's really not coming to the races here in Season 3. But we've made up some places, already into the points, already made up 5 positions. We're now staring at the back of the Renault of one Carlos Sainz. But it's about seeing how the car behaves in the wet weather. You sort of see me jiggling the wheel as we go through the final corner. Perez appears to have got away better than Bottas, and he leads the Grand Prix from Esteban Ocon in 3rd. The 2 Red Bulls, and then Sainz in 6th, albeit Sainz now potentially going to come under attack from myself. I dipped in for more slipstream. I'm later on the brakes than Sainz. He turns in. Will he see me? Yes, he will. We stuck it down the other side, and that move has paid off. And that is the prime overtaking opportunity on this circuit down into turn 1, having got a good exit off of the final corner. So we managed to stay up behind those guys, and even at the end of the second lap, we've actually successfully been able to stay behind them, but we're lapping very slow at the moment. 32.2 for the fastest lap of the race. That's about 20 seconds off normal pace. 32.4 for me though, so it goes to show we have got some pace, and we are rich mix. We're looking at the inside of Verstappen, and we've got more room this time around to potentially go wide late on the brakes, and we've made a move on Max Verstappen, a guy known for his abilities in the wet, and also not to make overtaking very easy. We've easily passed him into turn 1. So okay, lap 3 already up into P5. Things looking very positive, and just look at the rain lashing down. Realistically, I think we should be on full wet tyres, but if the AI are making this work, I sort of have to as well. Perez 32.1, Bottas 32 flat. We're in the 31s. We're the fastest car on track right now, and we are up behind Daniel Ricciardo. Can we make a move into someone very late on the brakes? I'm getting confident on the left foot there, and we've breezed past the Red Bull into the braking zone. That's another position made up into 4th place now. We are showing some fantastic pace early on in this Grand Prix, and now we move up later on in lap 4, and we are up behind Esteban Ocon, the guy who realistically is not actually having the best race right now, but is my #1 rival in the championship. And just look at where we're making up the time. This is it. This is what I was talking about in quali. I put so much downforce on the car for sector 2, and you can just see how I'm basically pushing the Force India through the second sector, and that's where we're gaining all of our lap times. So I'm just going to stick it in lean mix, and I'm going to bump up the ERS, try and save some of that fuel. As Ocon now goes left, we could have maybe dive bombed it into there, but that would have been a horrific accident, and both of us spinning. I want to avoid that, but all we need to do now is just have a good clean exit. Look at Ocon, he was opposite lock into the final corner. He's got no grip in that Force India whatsoever. Perez with the fastest lap, 31.7, and we're held up behind Ocon. We're in rich mix now. Can we make a move on Ocon into turn 1? It would come from a long way back. It is coming from a long way back. Oh my lord, that was a Ricciardo-esque dive bomb. We've had to take to the runoff, and that has not worked, unfortunately. I didn't realise how early Ocon was going to brake, and obviously we had to kind of pull out from behind him to avoid hitting him, but we now move on to lap 6. I've somehow skipped it, not sure how, but we've got past Esteban Ocon. I must have missed that while I was editing, and we've gone to a 130.0. Now the rain has eased up a little bit, so that does obviously mean the track is going to be getting faster, and of course I'm back into lean mix, saving fuel, trying to chase down my good teammate Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez. So I do offer my apologies for the editing error there, but Ocon looking very slow. I think he might have an issue as we do a fastest lap of the race now on a 29.9, and we're just over a second behind Valtteri. Perez, I don't know if Perez is holding him up, but the Mercedes clearly showing it has pace this afternoon, as all of my fears and concerns appear to actually be working out quite nicely. You know, after Saturday it looking all doom and gloom, all it took was a bit of a rain shower on Sunday, and we've got the fastest car on the circuit. So, is what it is. Up the end now of lap 8, Perez still leads the way. Bottas tucked up behind him, and ourselves here have come to make it a 3-man train. Perez looking very sideways. Maybe it's just a Force India thing into the final corner. We try and tuck out, and we pull into the slipstream of Valtteri Bottas. He's actually got quite a bit of space on me, and I'm going to have to be a bit more delicate with Bottas than I have been with everybody else, because I don't really want to go steaming up the inside of my teammate and take us both out of the race. You know, we've already had a couple of issues this season, nothing too major, but you know, you don't want to hit your teammate, that's for definite. But now once again,
a new strategy is available on the MFD.
so we were getting a strategy notification, and we are battling Bottas. Sorry, I was waiting to see what Jeff said there. I'm going to come on and we're going to get a replay of that, but we've managed to squeeze our way past Bottas into the chicane. He went very wide at the first part, bumped across the curbs on the second part, and we managed to out-traction him on the curb of all places. I don't know, like, I just put on sort of like a setup that I thought would work on this car. I think I found the magic formula for Hungary, but we move in now to lap 12, and Sergio Perez, another Force India, having issues into the final corner. We're tucked up behind him as we move on to lap 13. This could be a contest for the lead and potentially an overtake for the lead into turn 1. It comes from a long way back. Is Perez going to see me? Yes, he does, similar to Sainz earlier in the Grand Prix. And it's taken just over 12 laps, but in those 12 laps we've gone from P12 to P1 at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Fantastic driving, some bold overtakes, and it goes to show this car is just, it's working. And I don't know why, I'm just so much quicker than everybody else as we set 29.7 is the best lap that we've done. The tyres are starting to fall off a little bit, and you can see it's stopped raining. Track's still a little bit greasy. We are coming in at the end of this lap. Now, realistically, I think it's going to be best off to do a set of dry tyres, as going for another set of inters would be stupid at this point. You can see the wear on the inside of the tyres though. And while I've been in the lead, I've just been saving fuel. And here we go. Now we're getting the call from Jeff to swap tyres, and it's probably a good thing we did, because I was not really paying attention. I've made a grave mistake into the penultimate corner, running very wide. That's probably cost me a bit of time, but here we go. We're coming in, and we're actually getting the call to come in this lap. So Bottas, I'm sorry fella, you're gonna have to go around once more. Unlike what happened in Germany with some Mercedes controversy, like I was mentioning earlier, we've had a few moments, but now the DRS gets enabled. It is officially the crossover point. Hopefully we don't get too held, little bit held, as Perez came past, but not the end of the world. In fact, Ocon's come in. Both Red Bulls are in. Wow, they're double stacking here. And this could be make or break them for Valtteri Bottas. If he has a good outlap, because it's just over 21 seconds in the pits. Now, obviously, we need to trust these tyres. And I don't know how these tyres are going to fare in the dry conditions. I've been very good in the wet so far in this Grand Prix, but dry is where I struggle around Hungary. And it depends how well we do on these tyres, but we've moved on to a lap later. Bottas made his pit stop, so again, I've cut that. I do apologise. Must have been rushing this one. It's the fastest lap of the Grand Prix on a 27.0. Perez 2.6 behind me, and Bottas just tucked up behind him. But Daniel Ricciardo actually setting the pace, 26.4. The Red Bull looking very quick at the moment, actually. He's broken free behind Esteban Ocon. He must have some kind of issue, Ocon, because we've got a Force India rightly in second place. Van Dorn now, 26.1, fastest lap of the race, and when we smashed that on a 23.1. But yeah, Force India is rightfully in second place in Perez, so Ocon must have an issue to be losing out there against the fourth fastest car in the Red Bull. But we are now just leading the way, and again, it's through that track evolution phase, similar to Silverstone here, but or similar to Germany, where we were just doing fastest lap after fastest lap. A 21.7 there, you see it, and we've got 5.6 seconds to Sergio Perez there, and hopefully Bottas will be able to get past him. He's got close a couple of times, but he doesn't appear to have overtaken him as of yet, as again, another fastest lap, 21.0. And the pace now just quickening. We're building a gap, and I don't know what to say. I honestly don't know what to say. Ricciardo still with the speeder, 20.8. He's closing in on Perez and Bottas, so that'll be a fight. And Hülkenberg then, fastest lap of the race at 20.7. Impressive speed from the guys with the Renault power units, but you see me all over the curve. Look at this, gymkhana as we continue to push. And what's it going to be this time around? We retake the fastest lap on a 1:19.5 comfortably now, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And then Perez responds. Now maybe the Force India is going to retaliate. Now maybe he's got some speed. And is this where we fall off? Is this where my usual Hungary bogey circuit mentality comes in? Are we going to struggle as we boot out of the final corner? We respond again, 17.7. I'm not prepared to take this lying down. For me to be leading the Hungarian Grand Prix, and comfortably, not even having to defend at this point, is a rarity in itself. The sun now shining as we move on and to the final lap of the Grand Prix. So we've come forward a long way. Perez, second place. Ricciardo up to third. I've missed what happened to Valtteri Bottas. I don't know if he maybe made another pit stop or whatever's happened there, but tyres are still in fantastic nick. You saw we were doing an 18.5, and that's because we've really turned the motor down. But really good stuff, actually. Like, for me to successfully race in Hungary. Now, it could be given the aspect of the improvements that we've made to the car, and obviously it being that much better than everyone else, as it were. But even then, I had arguably the best car in the Force India last season, and it still wasn't, it wasn't this strong, it wasn't this comfortable. So, and I just think whatever magic setup I found just worked in Sector 2, and I made up so much time during this particular sector that the time I was losing in Sector 1 and Sector 3 really didn't matter, and we're on for another good lap for the end of the race. But we're now coming through 6.6 seconds ahead of Sergio Perez, and I think we've done a truly fantastic job, to qualify P12 after whatever happened in quali, to start 12th in the rain at my weak track. We win the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing. Well done.
So as I say that, we can see the drivers coming out now to collect their trophies. It's yet more silverware to take back to their base in Brackley after another excellent Grand Prix.
So there we have it. We win the Hungarian Grand Prix from P12 on the grid, winning it by just over 6 seconds to Sergio Perez. A truly Jenson Button-esque drive from myself, if you remember his 2006 victory from 14th on the grid. So, as I said, Perez coming P2. Daniel Ricciardo, even though Red Bull's been falling off, a fantastic P3 for him. Esteban Ocon fell down to finish P4. Carlos Sainz doing very well in the Renault to get there P5. Hülkenberg showed some pace early on but dropped off, and Vettel actually, interestingly, even though apparently the Toro Rosso is on par with the Ferrari, Vettel getting a solid P6. That's their best result for a long time. I've already mentioned Nico Hülkenberg there, who finished P7. Max Verstappen clearly not having the pace that Ricciardo did. He was over 16 seconds behind his teammate in P8. And then we have Kimi Räikkönen in P9, and then Pierre Gasly rounding out the points out in 10th, and Valtteri Bottas ended up P12. He made a second pit stop. That's what happened with Valtteri. So maybe an issue with tyres or maybe some damage. I'm not 100% sure what happened with Bottas as to why that second stop was needed, but that explains why he was 32 seconds back at the end with the fastest lap actually on a 1:16.8. So he stole that from me. Nonetheless, driver standings wise, we now lead Esteban Ocon by 46 points. Sergio Perez now jumps both Bottas and Max Verstappen in the standings up to 116 points. He ties on the points with Verstappen, but because Perez has had more wins, he will lead Verstappen in the standings. Yeah. On the constructors' side of things now, Mercedes have 331 points, Force India 296. So they are trying to chase us down, but we keep building that lead. It's been a fantastic weekend for me, and I'm sure I would love to have a little chat and let the media know about how I'm feeling after this win in Hungary. Let's chat with Claire.
Amazing performance out there. You must be really happy. How are you feeling after that win?
Relieved, in all honesty. I thought this was going to be a really bad weekend for the championship, and to come away with maximum points is indescribable.
Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today?
Did you not watch the race? Because it certainly didn't feel like it. I was past them all in 12 laps. Easy.
Another podium. You must be getting used to it up there.
We're on a roll at the moment, aren't we? Yeah, definitely on a roll. Huh.
Would you say that your rival is still on your level?
He was never on my level. Max, until he gets a better car, unfortunately, he won't be able to compete.
Great. Well, that's everything.
And there we have the Hungarian Grand Prix, guys. We have successfully won at our bogey track, one of the ones we struggle at the most on the calendar, and we've picked up a huge win, and I could not be happier. So that is fantastic news for the championship going into the second half of the season, because it's around about this sort of time where I start having a few issues, as it were. Obviously, we've got Italy coming up. That should be strong for us in the Mercedes. We've got Belgium as well, which can be hit or miss for me. Singapore, where I don't expect us to go well, as that's like typically known to be a struggle track for Mercedes. And then obviously, you know, hopefully we continue our lead in the championship, because tracks like Brazil and Abu Dhabi I can tend to really struggle at. But that is the future. Let's worry about the here and now. Next time up, as I said, is Belgium, which can be hit or miss for us. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and of course comment any feedback down below. Subscribe to be kept up to date with the content that comes to the channel, and enable the notifications so you don't miss anything. And I will see you all next time.